Welcome back, Commanders, to another video, and today we're going to be looking at the brand new officer that is for the bomber, and we're also going to be looking at a new versatile officer that's in the exclusive lounge. So let's jump straight into the exclusive lounge one, as I know that this is probably going to be the most anticipated one out of them all. So guys, the new officer is actually a versatile officer that's going to be for the exclusive lounge, and it's going to be the following. It's going to be a very defense orientated officer. So this is perfect for either a super heavy or an infantry when tanking a base. Now, the reason I say tanking a base is we'll see from some of the skills here, but technically it can be used on other units, but I would definitely say it's for a tanking unit more than anything. So the first skill here, guys, grants the officer's troop a shield coefficient of 2,150. I believe this is the highest shield we've had in the game so far. This officer troop has less than 50% HP. It increases its damage resist by 60% for 4 seconds. Now, I think that's really strong. Now, I do assume that, for example, here it is a 8-second prep time. It's the main skill, and I do believe that, for example, let's just say at 8 seconds you have 50% HP, you'll get that 60% for 4 seconds. And if somehow you're still alive on the second skill set, say you got 20% left at that point, then you might get another 60% for another 4 seconds. I would assume so. I don't see why it'd be any different. For the second skill here, guys, is going to be, it increases the officer's normal attack resist by 30% and officer skill resist by 20%. Again, another protection skill. So that's 2 protection skills so far. Moving on to the third skill here, we have got when this officer troop is attacked by garrisoned units in an enemy base, it increases the damage resist by 32%. So very similar to what we've had recently with Iron Cavalier. This is a very defense for attacking a base orientated. So that's the second defense skill. And finally, we have a balance skill, which is a mixture of 10% firepower and 30% HP. And again, it's only 10% firepower and 30% HP, which means it's more defense orientated. So with that being said, we have basically got 3 kind of defensy skills here, as well as a shield. This is purely just on the defense side of things. Now, finally, guys, the awakened skill here is going to be when attacking a base, the arbitrator's tactical skill applies the challenge state to a garrisoned enemy troop lasting for 5 seconds. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what that is right now, the challenge state, because unfortunately I don't have access to a test account unlike some other people, but they also didn't check out what challenge state means. So I wish that, you know, we kind of knew this information a little bit sooner, but once that next exclusive lounge opens, we'll be able to check what it means, and of course I'll update you in the future. And finally, moving on, guys, to the next officer in mention, and it's going to be Dawn Striker. Now, Dawn Striker, to upgrade her, you need to unlock any Air Force unit to level 80. I've got this, obviously, and therefore we are going to unlock her. Now, I'm really excited to see just how good she's going to be. So let's check out the skills here. The first one here is this bomber officer deals skill damage with each bombing run, damage coefficient of 1800. The next skill here is going to be damage intensity of 20%. Pretty nice. We then have firepower of 40% on bombers. Again, this is only for bombers. We then have a special skill here. When this officer's bomber troop is attacked, it has a 20% chance to gain a shield coefficient of 900 for 4 seconds. Pretty decent. And then finally, the awoken skill here is going to be this officer's bomber troop deals skill damage to a target of 2000. So it upgrades the original first skill from 1800 to 2000, and on top of that, it deals extra skill damage for each enemy troop surrounding the target of a damage coefficient of 200 each. So if you have, for example, a Liberty bomber or any bomber, for example, and you're attacking, say, this grid here, if these are filled up and you're attacking a full rally, for example, you're going to be dealing up to an extra 1,200 on top of the 2,000, which is a total of 3,200 damage coefficient. So that is going to do a lot of extra damage if you are, you know, putting this on a Liberty bomber. Now, this would still work, obviously, even on a normal one, because having this on a Vanguard or a Marty will still be very strong, because obviously it just means it's going to pretty much almost one-shot most units. So with that being said, guys, I currently have Lone Eagle already awakened, but I don't have a second officer. Now, I was waiting to see if a new bomber officer would come out, and one did. So I was wondering, do I get El Cartero, or do I get, for example, Inferno, or finally, do we go and get Dawn Striker? So with that being said, I'm going to get Dawn Striker because I have seen footage and examples of just how good she is, and we will lead with this in a second. I'll show you with some testing on my friend. He had Lone Eagle with Cartero, and fortunately for me, by saving my statues, he then tested Lone Eagle with Dawn Striker, and the damage is significantly better. So with that being said, let's go in and awaken her right now. We're going to need, how many are we going to need here? It's 720 statues, so 720. Boom. We have got, let's go. We've still got 900 awakened. Oh, I've got to level her up a little bit. There we go. Boom. So with that being said, let's go in and level her up right now. I'm always excited whenever I get a new officer. It feels like Christmas. It feels like Christmas all over again. Let's see what her new awakened art is going to be like. Oh shit, she's like sitting down now, getting ready to climb on board and do some bombing runs. Unfortunately, right now, I do only have a 9.1, but don't you worry, guys. We're going to get some footage for you to have some absolutely amazing bombing runs using this new bomber here. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So guys, due to the fact of having a bomber, I can no longer have 2 artillery that are Liberty. So with that being said, guys, I'm actually going to have here a complete change. So I've gone for a complete change up of units, and I'll quickly go through it here. As you can see, I pulled out the rocket launcher again because we can have 2 of these instead, and basically we've maxed out the bomber. I make this class when I want to sit at the back and just bomb everyone. I'm gonna have a bit of fun bombing, but this is what this class is gonna be. And of course, if we ever go to gold 3, I'll change it around and I'll actually be able to have maxed out every single unit, but that's for another video. With this being said though, this is gonna be my kind of go-to setup. In fact, I forgot to change this officer here to her because I will be unlocking her as well so that I can improve the protection when it comes to this. So let me quickly update this here, and that's gonna be for plan 3. So my plan 3 is purely bombing runs. Of course, I did want to kind of set myself up for a little bit of, you know, protection. Let's just say someone comes out of nowhere to attack me while I'm bombing. I still have some protection, obviously. So with that being said, let's quickly jump straight in, and we are going to send our fighter in now. And then shortly behind it, we are going to send in the bomber. Now, we are going to be bombing someone who's pretty strong here. This guy is 300 mil. Let's check his all-time to make sure it fits the same. So all-time, okay, he's 335 mil. So I don't expect to do that much damage if I'm honest with you. But let's quickly check this out. So guys, let's go. The bomber is arriving right now. And let's just see just how much damage we managed to do here. It's a decent amount of damage, and as you can see, the shield is proccing, so it's definitely helping us, you know, take a bit of less damage. But overall, I think that that's a decent amount of damage, considering the fact that, as I said, it's a 350 mil base, and I'm basically just bombing it. And of course, I don't think this is something you'd successfully do if you was, for example, going to do an attack there for, you know, just 100% in a base. It's not very viable. If you had multiple people doing it, that's a different story. But as a solo, it's definitely going to be more useful if you attack someone that's just came back, they're on red health, and that's the only thing to do. I definitely think that'd be more viable. So here we are, guys. The battle report has just come through. We done 61.8 million damage of its normal attack, and then we done 23.8 million damage for its actual skill damage. And that's obviously all coming straight from the new officer, because believe it or not, Lone actually doesn't do any skill damage when on a Liberty bomber, believe it or not. So as you can see here, he doesn't do any damage when on a Liberty bomber. He just increases the damage of the bomber, not skill damage. So that's one thing to take into consideration, that she's doing quite a decent amount of damage considering she's the only officer on there. So yeah, with that being said, guys, let's test it on some units. So guys, bombing him to death will take a long time. So in fact, what we're gonna do is my friend here is just gonna kill the base quickly, and then we are gonna come through with the juicy bombing run. So oh my god, is he actually gonna be able to get the... Oh no. Okay, we might be able to actually finish it off here. Oh, no. That was a little unsuccessful. Very, very strong base here, though. Very, very strong base. As I said, he's 330 mil. It says 303 mil, but his all-time power is 330 mil. So let's just quickly see if we are able to, in fact, get the kill here. I don't know if we're going to be able to get the kill. We might be able to. We might be able to here, so let's check it out. So by the way, the reason I do not put him straight away is because you actually do more damage if there's less units within one grid. So I make sure that my fighter is not within one grid of the bombing itself. We might actually get the kill here, but then how many do we get on the actual unit? So I am going to, if we blow the base up here, which this next run, this final run, unfortunately, is going to kill it. There it is. And then we are going to end up doing a runaway. So let's hope he is not online, okay? Let's hope he doesn't come online. Okay, so this guy has 20 mil, 29.2 mil. He has 36.9 mil. He has a little baby one, 25 and 25. So we're going to do one more bombing run here, and let's just see just how much damage we do from one bombing run. So again, we're going to get, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units around this grid here, we are in fact actually going to end up doing a little bit more damage. We're going to do an extra 2, 4, 6, 8, 1,000 damage coefficient. So you'll see 3,000 damage coefficient right here, right now, when it comes to the skill damage for the new officer, because as I said, depending on how many are around it, she'll do a little bit of extra damage. So I will try and get some more footage, of course, of, you know, attacking a rally, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get any in time. But let's just have a look here. We have got 14 seconds. Okay, and here it is. It has arrived. And let's just see the first strike coming in. Basically, kind of half hits most of that artillery there, which is kind of crazy. If I could get this off on a actual rally that's coming to attack me, I think that would be absolutely disgusting. I think that would do a lot of work. Damn, that is beautiful. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage right there. But a big shout out to Crude. We kind of stole his kill there, but thank you, Mr. Crude. I appreciate you, homie. So, guys, here is some footage of Leo bombing a base. He is currently in this bomber using El Cartero and Lone Eagle. And in this, we can see he's going to do a full bombing run. As we can see here, guys, the results are coming in at 19.7 mil damage and 5.2 mil for the actual officer damage. Now, of course, Eagle himself does not do officer damage, as we know. So moving into the second one, we have got the new officer on there. She is going to be doing a crazy amount of damage, as you can kind of tell. And again, paired with Lone Eagle. So this is going to be another one where we're going to see the results here. And this is just doing a full bombing run on a base. So the results, as you can tell here, are going to be 25.6 mil on the normal damage. And then we've got 14.4 mil, which is almost triple the amount of damage compared to the original. And if we go back to compare again, just so you can see, 19.7, so we have more unit damage, and then almost triple the actual damage of the overall officer damage. So it's kind of crazy how one officer can do so much more damage. And then finally, we thought, why not try it to see how it works? We decided to try one with the new officer and El Cartero, Dawn Striker that is, just to kind of tell how that would go without Eagle. And is Eagle the one that's really needed as well to boost that extra damage? And the results here, guys, as you can tell, 11.3 mil. Again, not that much damage. A little bit more, obviously, officer damage when you got the two officers that both deal skill damage together. But overall, guys, Lone Eagle is a must. Okay, it's proven. Lone Eagle is a must on a bomber. He just adds so much extra damage overall. And then finally, the new Dawn Striker is honestly so much stronger than El Cartero. Very, very good choice. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Inferno is good. And if you do have Inferno, it might be worth keeping him instead of upgrading if you do not have a load of abundant statues and all your units still need working on. But let's just say if you have all your units that you need with officers on them and you have a load of statues laying around, definitely upgrade is definitely a very good upgrade instead of Inferno to get the new Dawn Striker overall. So yeah, that's the new bomber, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, I will be bringing a lot more bomber footage now that we finally have got one. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And as always, please let me know down in the comments if there's any other videos you would like to see. I love and appreciate you all, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.